Good morning, Carla Hartley here. I'm the managing attorney for a family law firm located in Ventura County, California. This morning I am discussing the various types of restraining orders that we see in California. I'm going to start by saying this is a video dealing with interpersonal restraining orders. This is not talking about the injunctive order you would get if you have a business doing something that you don't think they should be doing, making noise after 2 a.m. in your backyard. That's an injunctive order, and that is under an entirely different code, different statute, different everything. I am not talking about those types of injunctive orders. I am talking solely about interpersonal restraining orders in this video. So, as a family law attorney, as a family law firm, what we mostly will see are domestic abuse restraining orders. These are provided for under the family code, and we see both sides. We see the parties who are seeking a restraining order. We see the parties who are trying to defeat a restraining order that they contend was wrongfully granted. So I'm not going to go into the merits of this. I'm simply going to say that the domestic abuse restraining order has one significant factor that has come about the past couple of years. They have changed the meaning, they have changed the name of the statute from domestic violence to domestic abuse. And the courts now recognize, and the legislature recognizes, that many types of behavior are abusive even though they are not physically violent. So you must keep that in mind. If you've got somebody making noises that, say you're the party that is thinking everything's good, and then your spouse or your significant other starts saying, you're abusive, you're controlling, go talk to an attorney and see what's happening there. Maybe just get a little bit of advice. And then if you are a party that feels that you're not actually being manipulated, coerced, controlled, because the other side has never hit you, but you do feel manipulated, coerced, and controlled, you may want to talk to counsel, because there is relief on a variety of facts that are no longer involving physical violence as between significant others. The next restraining order I'm going to discuss that we also do seek and defend against in this firm is the elder abuse restraining order. Like the domestic abuse restraining order, elder abuse does not require physical abuse in order to obtain a restraining order. So this is for our elders, obviously, and we are seeing a bit of an uptick in the elder abuse restraining orders right now, and I think it's because things are kind of tough. I think one of the big problems is that many seniors don't want to hold their family members accountable. I would simply submit to those seniors that you have a right to protect yourself. You should protect yourself. Society wants to protect you. And I don't think you should be giving a free pass to someone who is young, able-bodied, certainly capable of deciding to not act physically or financially or emotionally or psychologically abusively to you. They don't have to act that way. So you can find an attorney. There are many attorneys in Ventura County and California at large that do these orders. So go and talk to somebody. If you are an elder and you think you are being abused, and it is not limited to physical abuse, talk to somebody and see what they say. And if you're afraid to talk to an attorney, for goodness sake, go talk to a therapist, because they are apprised and aware of what's going on here. All right, next I'm going to discuss civil harassment restraining orders. My firm does not do these. I'm going to mention them because they are interpersonal restraining orders, and because sometimes the person who is behaving abusively towards you is a person who is not related to you, that you have not been in any type of intimate relationship with, and so you can't get a domestic abuse restraining order because there's no domestic in this relationship. You're not a senior, so you can't get the elder abuse restraining order. What do you do? Well, let's look at the civil harassment restraining order. This is generally for to prohibit behavior between people who are legally strangers. Doesn't mean you are strangers, it just means you don't have that intimate relationship or that blood relationship that would make you more than legal strangers. We often see this between neighbors, and that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. I think I am hearing, it is being reported to me that the courts are seeing a bit of an uptick in the civil harassment restraining order arena. While this is also heard on the family law floor here in Ventura County, California, it is not under the family code. I am not going to discuss it at length, but if you feel that someone is, behaving beyond the pale, say you and your neighbors just can't get along, first try to work it out. Try to work it out. Try to get to a mediator. Try to get to somebody who can assist you. Talk to other neighbors, but not in a fashion that's like, politically trying to get everybody on your side and estranging the other party. Try to seek a resolution, because these civil harassment restraining orders can be ugly. The last one I'm going to discuss, because it does impinge on my area of law, our area of law, is going to be the gun violence restraining order. Now, you don't actually have to have gun violence to have a gun violence restraining order issued against you. This is something that is generally, most commonly, brought by the local police departments or government officials who have run into a situation where they know somebody has guns and that person is behaving in a very unstable fashion. That can be somebody who's behaving, in a suicidal fashion, somebody who's brandishing weapons and threatening to shoot people, which could also fall under several other restraining orders. But this is kind of preventive maintenance. Now, we don't do this in our firm, and there are some questions if this is kind of a prior restraint, that this is a deprivation of property, the guns, without due process. And really what this does do is it takes away the guns from the person who is behaving unstably, in a threatening fashion, stuff like that. I am not really intimately familiar with this. I know that it is occurring. I have seen these orders issued. I have seen these orders pursued. And I'm simply going to say that if you have guns in your home, they should be locked up and compliant with all California regulations, and you should not be, handling them when you're upset. And if you do have some sort of mental disability in the current environment, it would be very, very wise for you to store those guns in a safe at someone else's house. And that way you will avoid losing your guns. But I'm not the authority on this. The flip side of this is, if you are someone and your loved one is unstable and behaving oddly and he or she has guns, maybe go talk to somebody, talk to the district attorney, I would say start with your local police department and see if they think there's anything to worry about. Because those guys, they're in your community, they know what's going on, and they are certainly up on all of these gun violence restraining order laws. So those are the most common interpersonal restraining orders we have in Ventura County. I included the gun violence, even though it's kind of an entity, a government entity, for the most part, against an individual. It still involves interpersonal restraining orders to an extent. So keep that in mind. Keep all these in mind. These are ways to protect you, protect yourself, protect the people around you. And we, for God's sake, we do want everyone to be protected. I hope you have a good day. I hope you guys share this. I hope you take it seriously. And I do hope this is helpful. Bye-bye.